welcome back to our first update for October. And I'm smiling a lot at the moment because we've finally got our helm seat. It's sat in customs for 4 to 5 weeks with a paperwork hiccup, and have a look at it. This is made by Release Marine in Georgia in the United States. It's a sort of semi-custom design. It's one of their 3-seat helm bench seats, though we selected the fabric that we wanted to use on it. You can see the armrests, all solid teak. You can push in on the bottom here and these come up. You can see the workmanship, and they build an absolutely first-class helm and navigator's seats. They do tables, they do a lot of stuff. Have a look on their website because they've got everything listed on there. And if you want the best in the business, then this is it. I kid you not, you can be in big seas and sit on one of these seats and you'll fall asleep. They're that comfortable. But go and read all the details about how they build them, and that you'll be very, very impressed. Like I said, they're the best on the market, and have a look at the quality. So we're pretty keen to get it out and actually get it fitted on the boat, but we've still got a bit of building to do before we can do that. So this will we'll make a couple of templates up for the size and that type of thing, where we're going to mount it on the fly bridge, and then this will go into storage until the end, and then we'll show you when it's fitted to the boat. Moving on, what we'll show you today is we've been starting the glass installation, so we'll be able to show you a few of the panels in the wheelhouse. We've been doing a bit more in the forward cabin, so we've got some of the gloss Silky Oak in there to show you. It's one of those things that there's a lot going on, but it doesn't look like a lot as far as the electrics go, other than just wires and stuff going everywhere. So we'll show you a little bit of that, galley and what have you. So we'll give you the usual rundown of what's been going on over the last couple of weeks, all right? Okay, here we are up on the bow, and in the last episode we mentioned and we showed you a couple of the hawser holes that we were cutting into the bow. Mark's going to explain now exactly what the next process is in order to make it all structurally sound and be ready for paint and stainless steel fabrication.
So now the hole's been cut and filled in. This is the sleeve for the hawser, and that will simply slot in, be glued in place. This part will be rebaited into the boat so it sits just below flush, so that the cloth and the glass can go over it, and then that'll be bogged back in to look like the rest of the boat. Then the stainless steel will go inside there and with a flange over the outside.
Yeah. So effectively what we're going to have is, from an aesthetic point of view, is we're going to end up having a stainless steel fascia around here with a roller on it, and the anchor's going to sit in there. So this sort of section here will be replicated pretty closely in polished stainless steel, and then there'll be a little bit of a snout coming out with some rollers, and then that's going to guide the anchor as it goes in. Reason we're doing it this way is that you've got a lot of hollow sections and voids and stuff in here that you would have seen, and Mark spent a lot of time, apart from the first part of actually setting it all up to make sure you cut once and in the right place, was putting all the blocks and everything inside here. And Mark, can you just slide that out again for a sec? So you'll see now all the blocks have all been sealed and glassed in, and then this is the epoxy filler that we put in there, and that gets sanded, and then this is a neat fit. This will be glass on the inside as well, so the whole thing will be encapsulated in fiberglass. It'll be all epoxy glued in there, fastened in with screws. That gets glassed and fanned, and yeah, it's never going to come out, and it hasn't taken away any of the strength because we've reinforced up in the top here, and all the void section in here has all been filled in with solid wood. Another update from last week's episode is we mentioned about getting the glass in. So now you can see that we've got the 12mm laminated glass in now, mainly wheelhouse and the galley, which we'll show you in a sec. This is a Euro green with a laminating film and clear glass. It makes up about 12mm of thickness. We went with the Euro green because that's in keeping with the age and the style of the vessel, so that's what we wanted there. Now what I want to show you is, we come down here, I also mentioned last week about how it gets mounted into the vessel. So we'll go on the inside and see and have a look, but we've basically got foam. So what you can see, if you want to zoom in, you'll see that there's the foam there, and the foam's sitting 3 or 4 mil below the edge of the teak here, the window frame. So the idea then is once this is all sealed, we're going to backfill with a Sikaflex or polyurethane adhesive in here, and that'll fill up this gap here right around. It'll all look nice and neat and be finished off. The reason that we've done it this way is that the teak window frames are going to need some maintenance, ongoing maintenance down the track. So if you're going to have to sand this to recoat it, you don't want to be sanding right up to the glass because you can scratch it all. And we found that actually the original glass that was in the boat was absolutely scratched and damaged so bad. That's one of the reasons we got rid of it all. So two things. We wanted the glass set back from the side of the timber so we can sand it effectively. And secondly, if we'd left the foam, say the same height here as the teak, you put tape on that to protect the glass from the sanding and whatever you mask off for painting. A lot of times the tape will actually peel up sections of the foam as it gets older and starts to deteriorate. So by putting the Sikaflex in here, and I use just that term because it's a brand name, but you know what I'm talking about, you can touch that up and repair it, or you can cut it out and replace it, and generally it doesn't pull out when you take the tape off either. So it's just one of those things just to make the ongoing maintenance side of the vessel moving forward a lot easier. You can see the nice gloss timber, and this is all the original wood too. So this is from 1974. We basically restored it, and it's got 24 coats of clear on it. As I said, the all wood, all craft product. I think it looks fantastic. We haven't got the glass down in the salon yet, but we've got the galley, port and starboard, and we've got the wheelhouse, as you can see here. Then on the inside, this is just temporary. We're not going to use this as a window frame, obviously. It's a little bit agricultural. But these are just block spaces and what have you that wedge in there, and that just holds it in. And the bottom section, which you'll see, you can try and zoom in, you'll see the foam, and then you'll see the adhesive in here. So it's all glued in there. And then what happens next, it'll get more foam on the inside, and then we'll do a window frame, and that'll get backfilled as well. So the window frame will go up a lot closer to the glass, because on the inside it's all paint. You're never going to be having to maintain, do any ongoing maintenance on that, but you can get it off if you need to. And just shows you the thickness of how we've had to do everything there. I was a bit excited, and I wanted to bring you down to the bow, the V-Berth cabin here, and show you what we touched on before. So this is the Silky Oak gloss finished. So that's all glued in and installed, with a couple of the GPO and light switch sockets fitted as well. So I was a bit excited. I wanted to get you down here and show you how it really, I don't know whether the camera does it justice or not, but the 3D hologram effect of this gloss Silky Oak looks incredible. And just a reminder, that's actually a South Queensland timber in Australia. So you won't see that in a lot of the boats over in America probably. And also, look at the reflection. I just looked at myself in the monitor there. She's pretty shiny. That's the lighting circuit and the GPO circuit for the main deck that you're looking at there at the moment. So we're standing in the galley presently, and you can see we've gone around and we're basically working out the heights and how many gangs. So this is a two gang, two light switch. So that's that size there. This one here is a 3-gang, so you've got a GPO and you've got a USB. In Australia, our GPOs are effectively 2 gangs. They take up 2 modules of one of these. So you'll have 2 modules for the GPO and then 1 for the USB there. We're just bringing our heights for the lights to go through, which is about 1.1 metres. And through here again, so we've got light switches on both sides here. This is where we're going to have a 4-gang GPOs. Same as over there. So this will be 2 GPO here, 2 GPO there in the corner. We have to keep them a set distance away from the hot plates, which is just here. So you've got to be a certain distance. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we've got to be away from it. This one here, we've got to, in Australia, you've got to put a switch in to isolate the power to the hot plate, and you've got to do one for the oven, and that's got to be switched both positive and negative. So you've got no power whatsoever going to these appliances. So again, we've got to put that here. There's not much we can do about it. It's just what you've got to have. So this will be double GPO, and that'll be your switch for the oven. And they'll be set into the splashbacks. As you can see, we're still in pieces everywhere because all the fancy stuff's all gone down to the paint shop to get clear coated. So pretty much we're just left with the skeleton of the galley. But I think that gives you an idea of what you're looking at there. And once we get it all painted, we'll be starting to put it all back together, and then you'll really start to notice a difference. Here we are in the owner's ensuite, and effectively I'm standing in the toilet, which Fortunately, we haven't installed yet, otherwise my feet and socks would be wet. Just to give you a little bit of an update, we've been getting the Ensuites on the vessel prepared so we can start installing the fit out of it. And what we've done is we've sanded, we've got everything all like this bulkhead here, that was all replaced because that had all rotted out. One of the things I'm very conscious of in wet areas, like the same as the house, wherever you got plumbing, like the galley, the ensuites, the laundry, we want to make everything as watertight as possible so we don't end up having a leak or something like that and then end up having rotting timber in the boat, which is what happened in the past. So you can see here, this is all brand new, this whole bulkhead here. That section there is new. This has been replaced a bit as well. That's original, you can see the darker wood there. But everything's been encapsulated in HT 9000 epoxy, and we've Dynelled it, which is that very fine fabric that you can see on the surface there. So we've also done this one here, that's all been tied in as well and Dynelled. This panel here we have done as well, but it's separate only because we still need to lift these up to do the plumbing and run some electrics underneath if we have to. So I didn't want to go entombing everything too soon before we start fitting everything out. One of the challenges of this vessel, being because it's wood construction, is the frame. So if you have a look here, that's your whole side. You got these big frames. Now, we didn't put that porthole in. That was original from 1975, and you can see how they've cut the frame in order to get the porthole in. We've reinforced it, but when you're doing the fit out, you have to take into consideration that you're losing about 5 or 6 inches of the side of the boat, plus you've got all these gussets in the corners here as well to tie it all in. So when you're designing the fit out, you have to incorporate this in your design because you can't work around it. If it was a fiberglass boat, you wouldn't have that. And if it was a steel boat, something, again, you would have, it'd be minimal. So it's just one of those things with the, you know, being a timber boat and the way it's been built. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna have the toilet here. So there'll be a toilet. This is gonna be the shower area here, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn that into a little bit of a seat, so that way you can sort of sit down or brace yourself. So if you're having a shower and the boat's rolling around a little bit, you'll be safe. And then just this section here, this is where the hand basin and overhead mirror and cabinets and that sort of stuff goes. And you've got the door here. The door will open inwards. And the locks, I think we mentioned, the lock system that we're using are these magnetic locks, which I think are incredible. What we've done is, they're actually ones I was specified for these, so you normally have a privacy lock in, say, your bedroom, your ensuite, that type of thing. They do either a metal or a plastic striker. So I actually spec the plastic striker, so that way, if there was any, say somebody had an accident in the ensuite or the other bathroom ensuites, you can actually kick the door and break it open without damaging the whole boat as well. It'll just destroy the striker and you can get into the cabin. So I just said, well, just one of those little things I think was important because, you know, people can fall over, bump their head, knock themselves out. You can have a little kid who's locked the door, you know. You just don't know. So anyway, it gives us an option from a safety point of view there. Everything else in here is all plastic up. We're still moving forward. We've got insulation to go through on the deck head yet. And with that, you're working with the electricians, the plumbers, the engineers, the painters, the shipwrights, obviously, to keep everything ticking over. There's a lot of stuff going on outside the boat as well. And we're pretty much trying to get the cabins to the point where the only stuff left to do here is for us to start tending it up and spraying the clear coat. We showed you the finished Silky Oak planking up in the V-Berth cabin just a minute ago. This is, again, the Silky Oak shelf in the raw form, so you can see how it transforms once you start putting the filler and the clear coat on it. It comes up fantastic. In the bilge area here, well, not the bilge, but underneath the twin berth bunk, you'll see a couple of panels here. So we've modified some of this. This is going to be, again, primed and gloss coated white. The fan unit for the air conditioning for this cabin will sit here, pretty much what you're looking at. We've got another save all to go in as well, which will be then drained to a sump box. This unit here is the stabiliser hydraulic unit. We have mentioned, I think we've showed you this before. We haven't done too much more on this yet because we've got a couple of things we need to finish in the engine room before we can start running the hydraulic lines back through there, which will be happening probably the next month or so. This will be partitioned off as well. So we'll have a partition through here. That's going to be a separate compartment. That compartment there where the fan unit goes, that'll be separate, and then there might be a little bit of storage here, but there will be access right through the whole underside of the bunk. Here we are in the spray shed down the other end of the big boat shed with Ricky, and he's going to run through the process of when the wood, the Silky Oak veneer comes in, and what we go through to return it back to the vessel like you saw in the V-Berth cabin, all glossy and shiny.
Okay, so the panel or the timber comes down raw, like this. We sand it up and we put an isolator, a timber isolator on for adhesion. Then we
I noticed, sorry to interrupt, I noticed when you did the isolator, the wood actually started going furry.
Yes.
So why is that?
It starts to stand up a little bit so the polyester will stick better to the timber.
So is there anything coming out of the wood at that point?
The only thing that comes out could be a little bit of air in the veins.
Yep, okay.
But with veneer, it's not as bad as solid timber.
Because I noticed in some of the ones that you've been doing, you end up with a little air bubble here and there, and it's not shit paint job on your part. You said it's the air actually coming a little bit of, because timber's cellulose.
Yes.
A little bit evaporates.
Yep.
And it forces a little bit, and you go through and you've got to sand knock the
That's
tops off.
correct.
And
yes.
So the isolator sort of seals it so that to prevent all of that to still keep coming up.
It does, yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so after the isolator then, what happens?
We give it a sand with 180 and a Scotch-Brite, and then we put 2 to 3 coats of polyester sealer
now,
on it.
Why do you go from, say, abrasive sandpaper to the Scotch-Brite pad?
Just to try to get into any of the little
So
lows.
just more flexible.
More flexible,
okay,
pretty much. You won't be able to sand, obviously, inside all the grain, but the red scour or a sponge pad is closer to getting it all sanded for adhesion.
Okay, so we've done isolator, then we sanded it. Now what do we do?
We go into, we sand our polyester with 220 up to 400.
Right.
And then we put 2 coats of polyester top coat as a finish primer.
Right, so you're using a top coat as a primer.
That's correct.
Prior to then putting our clear on top of that.
All Grip 3000.
Why do we do that?
It just minimises shrinkage, because you can get a lot of gases that build up in the polyester sealer as well.
The actual paint itself, as the solvents is flatching off.
That's correct. Okay. So the polyester top coat, it helps seal the poly and the gases up.
Right.
And then it gives us minimal shrinkage for when we put our polyurethane or acrylic urethane top coat over it.
Right, okay. And how many coats of, say, the finished clear do you put on?
4.
4 coats, and then it gets sanded and polished.
Sanded and polished, yes, that's correct.
Right. Now what happens, I know I have supplied you with a filler.
Yes.
It was hard to get, it has a very short shelf life, but it's clear.
Yes.
So what would you use that for?
Any big pinholes that we can't keep filling with sealer, so any end grain on a cupboard that's not really seen,
right?
Because you get a lot of air trapped from there, so you just fill it in there. Any big holes.
Right, so stuff that's a bit bigger than what you could poke a needle into to expel the air. Right, okay, gotcha. Right. Okay, well, I think that's given us a bit of a rundown on the process. There's a lot in it, there's a lot of work, a lot of man hours to get that finish that you've seen on the vessel. We're getting excited because we just want to see all of it looking like that, which I'm sure this guy will be able to do, and a lot of the other guys that will give him a hand. So I want to wrap it up there for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. It is growing, so if you do like it, share it, like it, hit the bell, all that stuff. I'm not full bottle on it, but you know, our producer is, so I know he's doing a good job there. And we'll be back with another installment in another week or so.